Alright, ladies and gentlemen, NXT last night, I guess it was somewhat decent. We got Mercedes Martinez versus Dakota Kai. We got the Grizzled Young Veterans meeting Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, as well as Toni Storm versus the NXT debut of Amanda Arnold, known as Zayda Ramier. And the Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory, Adam Cole interview, Killian, Dain, Drake Maverick versus Imperlum. And then we got Moon and Blackheart winning it over Aliyah and Jessica Camilla again. And then we got Kushida versus Legado del Fantasma. Kushida and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. And not to mention, we got a mysterious new teaser aired during NXT last night. What that magnet was? Who could this be? There is only one channel you're going to find that answer on, and that is right here on my Ingram Racing Gaming YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my IWN Wrestling News and Gaming YouTube channel. I am your host, your narrator, IWN's very own Brendan, and I am here live with your April the 27th, 2021 NXT review. If you are new to the channel, please go on ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for all notifications so you won't miss all of my newest wrestling and gaming content that will be coming to the channel this year. It's not just 2K Battlegrounds and Jump Force that I have on my channel now. There's more new games coming to my channel this year. This next game I'm buying next month is going to have some of you shocked. Especially some of you Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super fans. If you missed my stream over on Jump Force 2 days ago, please be sure you go check that out. Especially Justin, you need to go check it out, dude, because your favorite character from Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually on the game. If you missed my previous reviews from last week, please be sure you go check them out. Those reviews include my AEW Dynamite and SmackDown reviews. So if you missed those reviews, go check them out. They are on my channel. They are in the uploads. If you missed my AW Dark and AW Dark Elevation watch-alongs, please go check them out so you can listen and have a listen to what exactly went down on both of those shows this week. Also, immediately after my NXT review, I will be streaming Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War before my AW Dynamite review, which will be live tonight. So again, after my NXT review, I'll be streaming Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Then after my stream on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, my AEW Dynamite review will be live tonight. Of course, we're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about everything that went down on that show. You know how I break it down on my channel, so you don't have to worry. I am not going to miss a step in my AEW Dynamite review tonight. But anyways, folks, if you're new to the channel, man, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, man. I am on my way to 400 subs, and I am still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you are new to my Twitter account, please hit that follow button, man. Hit that follow button. And if you think you are going to enjoy the stream, hit the like button on the stream. It helps out the channel, the live streams, the videos, most importantly, me. And if you are new to my Twitch channel, which is where my Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Dragon Ball Z Verse 2 content is at, if you're new to that, man, go hit that follow button. Help me get up to 1,000 followers on both Twitter and Twitch by hitting that follow button and by encouraging your friends to subscribe and follow. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, I have your NXT news. I have some NXT news on Jason Jordan. Yes, I got some huge news on Jason Jordan. And we are going to go over the news on that mysterious Vagnet that was shown, that was aired during NXT last night. We are going to go over that, and I'm going to give you the answers as to who I think it is that's going to be making their next NXT debut soon. And who is the person behind that Vagnet? Who I think it is, anyway. So, thank you for joining me, man. I hope you all are having a good time here in the chat with me, man. Let's go ahead and get started with this NXT review. So, let's see. We got Dakota Kai versus Mercedes Martinez. That match kicked off NXT. And then we had, MSK and Kushida versus Legado Fantasma. That was the main event. And then in the second hour, we still had the Young Grizzleds and Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher were on the show. And before we get started for real with the review, let me go ahead and tell you which one of the best matches I think stole the show. I think one of the best matches on this show has to be MSK Kushida versus Legado del Fantasma. That 6-man tag team match was beautiful, man. That 6-man tag team match was a thing of beauty. I think it was the only best match on the show. Let me know in the comments below of what you think the best match was on this week's episode of NXT. Now, this time we are actually going to get started with the NXT review for real this time, folks. I'm not kidding. Because I have the stuff pulled up right now. Alright. So, I hope everybody's in the chat. Don't join at the last minute, because if you join at the last minute, you're going to already miss out on what went down on last night's NXT. To those of you that didn't watch it. I only do this for those of you that did not see NXT last night. Obviously, I didn't watch it because I was at work. But I did read the NXT results and found out that the show was somewhat decent. There was a few missteps on the show, but everything else was decent. So Tonight's NXT, anyways, opens up with Dakota Kai coming to the ring for singles action. So she's flanked by the NXT Women's Champion. Listen up. Listen carefully, folks, because I'm going to be reading this stuff really fast. So fast that you're probably not even going to be able to keep up with me. So she's flanked by the NXT Women's Champion. So Raquel Gonzalez, if her opponent, Mercedes Martinez, wins this match, she would get a title shot against Raquel Gonzalez. So we got Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez versus Mercedes Martinez. And Jonesy and Justin Time 21111, my YouTube moderator. Thank you guys for joining the chat, man. I hope you are enjoying your time here with me during these difficult times in this pandemic. This NXT review is going to be good. I promise. Now, it says here, if Mercedes Martinez wins this match, she will get a title shot against Raquel Gonzalez. Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez versus Mercedes Martinez. So the match begins with a lockup, and Kai takes the wrist. They exchanged holds and reversals. Then Kai shoots her off and looks for a leapfrog, but Mercedes catches her, and they stumble to the mat. So they tumble to the mat, and then Mercedes gets on the offensive and slams Kai with a big spine buster for 2. Martinez beats Kai in the corner, but Dakota fires back with a DDT for a 2 count. So then we got Kai whipping Mercedes Martinez to the corner, and she follows up with a running face wash for a 2 count. So then Kai leans Raquel on the middle rope and chokes her. Now Kai is favoring her right arm, which she may have landed during the botch leapfrog spot. Mercedes Martinez lands some right hands, but Kai counters with a backbreaker for a 2 count. Kai applies a submission, but Martinez breaks free only to get caught with a pump kick. Kai backs her into the corner and looks for a running kick, but misses and gets hung up on the ropes. Mercedes pummels her back and hits a modified Dominator for a near fall. So then Kai catches Mercedes with a drop toe hold. In case those of you know what it is, I'm just saying it right. So, yeah, she drops her with a drop toe hold into the turnbuckles. Then hits the Kyo kick. I was thinking Kaioken for a minute, but I was thinking it was going to say Kaioken. Didn't say that. Kyo kick, but Mercedes rolls outside before she can make the pinfall. Mercedes targets the arm and ragdolls Dakota Kai, then suplexes her. Martinez hits an arm breaker, and Kai rolls outside, so Mercedes Martinez goes after her, but Raquel stands in the way. Mercedes drops Raquel with a right hand and then gets inside and knees Dakota Kai in the face. Martinez lifts Kai up, but Gonzalez runs into the ring and kicks her to get Kai disqualified. Now, before I give you all my analyst thoughts on this match between Mercedes Martinez and Raquel Gonzalez, I just want to say I will go over the chat at the end. I'll go over to see who's commented in the chat. So, everybody, come on in and hang out. Comment in the chat. Talk to my friends in the chat, man. Whatever you want. Whatever you want to comment, as long as it's respectful. And again, I'm going to review the chat at the end. I'm going to see who's commented. So far, it's only just in time to 1111 and Jonesy Chats Wrestling. And good evening to you, by the way. Now for my thoughts on my analyst thoughts on the Mercedes Martinez versus Dakota Kai singles matchup. So honestly, before the non-finish, this was an excellent physical opener in what both women shown. So Kai looked like the more dominant force throughout, and forcing her to forcing her opponent to fight from underneath. So this emphasized that Martinez will be the face in the rivalry with Gonzalez going forward. Now, the disqualification was completely unnecessary, but, it was only empathized by the fact that Martinez supposedly almost won clean with so little offense mounted. Now, there should have been a few more minutes to get to that moment. Now, chat, do you agree with me on that? I just want to know. Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you agree with me on this. That there should have been a few minutes to get to that moment. Gonzalez versus Martinez is interesting. Though the heel champion facing a face challenger may take some getting used to, as Martinez has mostly played the dominant force in her rivalries to date. In other words, she's mostly been heel all her career in the WWE so far. So now she's turned face. Now that she's turned face, now that gives Raquel somebody to feud with. That gives her a babyface to feud with now. Alright, so that's my thoughts on that. Now after the match, Gonzalez continues the assault on Martinez and knocks her out in the ring. Martinez is tossed into the barricade, then the ring post. Gonzalez yells at her. Raquel lawn darts Martinez into the ring. Chin link, fence around the barricade. Martinez and Gonzalez are on a collision course, but it seems odd to me to have her be so competitive with Kai when you want her to look like a real threat to Gonzalez. And Jonesy, I am going to get to that later on in the review. We're not going to get to that right now. Probably at the end of the review, I'm going to review the news on the mysterious Magnet. Now, Shotzi Blackheart and Imperlum are backstage for an interview, and they say they can't look past the Robert Stone brand, and they aren't worried about the way anymore. So officials come up and hand Shotzi and Imperlum each a bouquet of flowers, I'm guessing. Then Frankie Monet, oh my god, they still haven't changed this name. Bruce and Vince, please, for the love of Christ, man, change this name. This name sounds so god awful, man. They really need to change this name. That Frankie Monet name is not getting it. That shit sounds so fucking terrible, man. They really need to change that name. Why couldn't they just kept it at Taya Valkyrie instead of Frankie Monet? See? Why do they have to change all of these NXT talents' names? They didn't change Aleister Black's name. They didn't change Shayna Baszler's name. So why are they changing the other NXT talents' names? I don't understand this. It's not making sense. What is this? They didn't even change Marina Shafir's name either. Or Jessica Mindu. We haven't seen these ladies for months. I don't know what happened to Jessica Mindu and Marina Shafir. Roger Strong say he quit, but I don't think I don't think he really quit, and I think it's a fucking storyline. I think Roger Strong is the next person that Adam Cole's going to be feuding with, more than likely. Anyways. And he could turn face on Adam Cole. But we got this terrible Frankie Monet name appearing and pulling in corn from the flowers. That is apparently from Dexter Lumis, but it's obviously from Monet. Yeah, whatever. Monet! Yeah, Monet my ass. And she walks off as Shotzi and Moon try to pawn the flowers off on each other. When you got somebody making a debut and you want to change their name, you have got to start. WWE has got to make sure they are going with these names, man. They have got to make sure they give these young talent good names instead of giving them these god-awful names like Frankie Monate. And you mean to tell me Taya Valkyrie was the one that actually voted on having her name that? Mean to tell me Taya Valkyrie was the one that wanted her character to be that name? You got to be kidding me. Goes to show you how god-awful this company is, man. Goes to show you how god-awful that name is, man. That name sounds. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of that Frankie Monate name. I think it's fucking terrible, man. I think they need to change it. It's god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. Seriously. Commercial break. We see a video of, oh great, Cameron Grimes. Yeah, I can't hardly wait. Can't hardly wait to read this one. Cameron Grimes going into a jewelry store early. So, once he went to that jewelry store earlier, Cameron Grimes said he wants something nice for someone himself. The jeweler says he has something special, and Grimes tells him to hurry up. So then, the grizzled young veterans are in the ring. One of the best tag teams in the NXT tag team division, man, in my full opinion. And I'm pretty sure JD from New York can agree with me when I say this. The grizzled young veterans are in the ring in suits, and they talk about the 6-man main event. James Drake says it's obvious that MSK are ducking them, and Zach Gibson says MSK are nubheads. That's funny. Nubheads. Gibson says they are the fire that is lightening up the division, and if a few snowflakes should melt, then so be it. So Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa come out, and Tommaso Ciampa, you know, there's no escape now. The Sulian psychopath, that's what they used to call him when he was a heel. Ciampa says he's sorry to interrupt, but they're very similar teams. Ciampa says they themselves are grizzled. They're veterans, and they're leaders of the division. Rightfully so. But then Ciampa says they too want to be the next NXT Tag Team Champions. They absolutely deserve to be the NXT Tag Team Champions. Look how long the young veterans had carried the NXT Tag Team division. I mean, really. That's enough to tell you they definitely deserve those titles. Now, he respects grizzly young veterans. Thatcher's been watching their footage and taking notes. Thatcher says they have a lot of strengths, but he watched NXT TakeOver Cardiff. Yeah, sure thing. I bet you did. Yeah, sure thing, Mr. Thatcher. And that didn't go too well. Thatcher signs, or starts signing, and Ciampa attacks the Drake and Gibson. Gibson trials him out of the ring, and they retreat. And that was pretty much it. Alright, so check this out. Here's my thoughts on the segment with Grizzled Young Veterans and the team of Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Honestly, you know, it wasn't really too bad here. Now, the smartest thing that NXT could do here was to let this feud build slowly. Now, if this was Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Garbage, you know, Monday Night Raw is complete garbage every Monday night. We all know that. That's because of Bruce and Vince and Kevin Dunn. Or even Friday Night SmackDown. It is likely that Grizzled Young Veterans would have fought Ciampa and Thatcher on the same night. It is important to wait for the right moment on this Dusty Rhodes Classic rematch. Now, note that MSK is preoccupied with Legado del Fantasma. Now, but one of those two teams should be the next to compete against the champions at TakeOver. Ciampa and Thatcher have a chance to truly find their next gear as a tag team against the Grizzly Young Veterans. Oh, great. I can't wait, man. That's going to be great. That's going to be pretty interesting, man. Can't wait to see how that turns out. Hopefully NXT doesn't fuck that one up. Anyhow. So we got Killian, Dain, and Drake Maverick being interviewed backstage. Tonight they face Imperlum. Drake says he's been watching wrestling a long time, and he knows this is leading to Dain joining Imperlum. Dain tells him to have faith and walks off. So we got a commercial break. We got a video of Swerve in the studio in which he talks about Leon Ruff. Swerve says he's thought a lot about it and he's proud of him. He didn't think Ruff had it in him, but now that he knows he does, it's obvious the ring can't contain them. So how about a Falls Count anywhere? Ruff wants to play the game, and that's fine. He's going to play with Ruff's life. Toni Storm comes to the ring and addresses Zoe Stark. Storm says Stark owes her a thank you. She made her famous at NXT TakeOver. Stand and deliver. But when history was written, Stark will be a footnote in her legendary career. The next chapter will read Toni Storm is Zoe Stark, and she hopes Stark is watching what she does next. So we got Zoe Stark versus Amanda Arnold, known as Zayda Ramier. I don't know if you all know this, but I think WWE this week did a copyright or some shit. There was a news on the copyright of this Zayda Ramier woman or something like that. This Zayda Ramier name. Yeah, there was news on another WWE going with another copyright. And I guess they gave Amanda Arnold this Zayda Ramier name before her NXT debut last week. I think it was this week though, because I didn't review NXT last week, so I didn't know if Amanda Arnold made her NXT debut last week or not. So I just figured I titled it, Adam Cole interview, Zayda Ramier makes her NXT debut, and Mysterious Bang. So that's how I had it titled. But anyways, folks, Toni Storm versus Zayda Ramier. This match didn't really last too long. The bell rings and Storm runs across the ring and kicks Ramier down. Storm whips her to the ropes and catches her with a boot. Storm tosses Ramier across the ring, then does it again. Toni hits a sliding lariat to Zayda, leaning on the bottom rope. Storm hits a backbreaker and bends Zayda over her knee before shoving her off. Zayda kicks Storm a few times and lands a flurry of punches, then misses two kicks, and Storm hits a big German suplex. And Fantasy Kid, thank you for reminding me, dude. I actually do have some news on the viewership because my sources just posted the viewership on Twitter. So I got some news on the NXT viewership. We're going to go over that in the end. That's breaking news, by the way. Courtesy of my sources on the internet. Toni slams Zayda in the corner and thinks about Storm Zero, but stops herself and sits Ramier on the top rope. Storm climbs up and wants Storm Zero from up top, but out comes Zoe Stark to distract her. Toni shouts at Stark, then goes back to the ropes, where Ramier knocks Storm back and lands a shooting star press for the win. And that was it, folks. Now, My analyst thoughts on this match. It wasn't too much of a match for Ramier, but it was an important momentum. It was a important moment in her early career, thanks to the woman who has been at the head of the next generation of NXT talent. Now, Ramier picked up a surprise win over one of NXT's absolute best female wrestlers in this business. Now, Storm will get a win back, potentially getting one over Stark as well, or maybe getting one over Amanda Arnold, known as Zayda Ramier, going by the name Zayda Ramier. However, the moment was enough to put Ramier in the conversation. She now has a chance to start competing as more than enhancement talent. Potentially forming an alliance with Stark if Sheree is focusing on singles gold. Is it me, or does Shirai and Sheree sound the same? I don't think so. That was just a quick question. Anyways, Legado del Fantasma cut a promo backstage. They say that tonight they start their route back to the top of the Prime Raid by beating MSK and Kushida. That they're going to take their gold. Bronson Reed is walking backstage for his match with Austin Theory, and he sees Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae standing, and they share a kind of stare down, you know what I mean? You know how people stare at each other face to face in the ring? That kind of thing. Reed made his entrance. So we ended up getting Reed versus Austin Theory. How many times, let me ask the chat a question real quick. How many times have you all seen Reed go head to head with Austin Theory? I think I'd say 2 or 3 times. This is probably either Reed's third or second match with Austin Theory. I don't remember the last time we saw Reed versus Austin Theory. But this match was heavily good. It was really, really decent. Good. It was your good typical kind of NXT TV match that you would want to watch. That you would want to grab your popcorn and eat it and watch it, man. That's how good. That's how intense and interesting the match was. And let's go over what went down with that. So the match gets underway and they lock up, with Reed forcing Theory back into the corner. So then Reed lets go and they lock up again. And this time, sure enough, Theory shoves him in the face. Reed takes a headlock and thumbs Austin in the forehead. Theory attempts a shoulder tackle, but hits a brick wall and rolls from the ring. Theory gets back inside and lands some punches. Then hits the ropes and jumps for a shoulder tackle, but Reed blocks it and Theory rolls to the apron. Now, Reed somehow hits a running hip attack that leaves Theory hanging upside down on the apron by his feet. Reed then hits a running tackle. He hits a running tackle to Theory as he's upside down and laughs at the way. Reed takes his time getting back inside, pulls the rope down and sends Reed over them to the floor. So then Theory distracts the referee, allowing Gargano to hit a super kick. Then Theory leaps over the ropes onto Bronson, Austin shoves Reed into the steel steps as they head to commercial break. So back from commercial break, back live, in Theory has a rare chin lock on Bronson. Reed fights back, but Theory drops him and smurs him. Austin takes too long looking for an elbow drop, and Reed rolls away. Theory attempts a roll through the ropes, but Reed catches and flapjacks him. So then Reed splashes Theory in the corner. Then hits a big choke slam and a senton for a near fall. So then Reed runs at Theory but gets tripped into the buckles. Theory hits a rolling blockbuster for a near fall. Reed counters Theory and hits a Samoan drop for a near fall. Theory wiggles off Reed's shoulder and hits a super kick, but gets planted with a suplex, and both men are down. Dexter Lumis appears on the stage and starts slowly walking down. Gargano sees him and drags Candice away. Indy tells Dexter no and walks off, but he follows her around the ring. She's annoyed because she thinks he gave flowers to Shotzi and Ember Moon. Shotzi rolls into the ring and Lumis gets on the apron. Indy tells him to shut up, that he talks too much, and then Theory accidentally runs at them, but Lumis shoves her out of the way, takes the hit. Gargano jumps on the apron and Reed drops him, then drops Theory and hits the Tsunami for the win. So Reed's the number one contender now for the North American Championship. So I wonder if that North American Championship match is going to be for next week or it's going to be for the next NXT TakeOver. I guess we'll find out. Now, my thoughts, Al's thoughts here on Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory. Reed versus Theory was fine. It was overbooked match with so many stories happening in parallel. The main match was lost in a shuffle. Now, there were far too many points late where both wrestlers were laying around waiting for other wrestlers to take action. Index has developed strangely, to the story's credit. I knew they were going to be called Index. I was right. NXT has made it interesting. Every week is an unknown. The fact that Lumis cannot talk only makes the story more fascinating. Every miscommunication is easy. Dexter Lumis is doing the best work of his career with his character, and he needs to keep on doing so, because if he keeps on doing so, he may very well be the next challenger for either Johnny Gargano or Bronson Reed for North American Championship. If Bronson Reed wins North American Championship, we could see Dexter Lumis versus Bronson Reed. If Johnny Gargano wins the North American Championship, then we're going to get Johnny Gargano versus Dexter Lumis. Both of those matches I know will be good. But will it deliver? That's the question. Absolutely. It has potential. You got two of the best in-ring performers in that ring, man. You know it's going to deliver when you, especially when you got to have live fans. But when you got virtual geeks in the crowd, I don't know. That's pretty hard to tell. But, anyways. So MSK and Kushida are backstage, and the tag team champions are excited to be teaming with Kushida. They thank him for apparently taking them under his wing. Kushida says they will show Legado, them Fantasma, that they are champions, and says they can be MS Kushida. The Way are backstage arguing with each other and blaming Indy for the loss. They tease her until she storms off. And then we have Imperium versus Drake Maverick and Killian Dain. So here's what went down with that match. We start with Dain and Heiner, who lock up. Heiner takes the back, but Dain throws him off. And Heiner forearms the back, then tries for an Irish whip, and Dain won't budge. So Dain clubs Heiner and catches him with a crossbody. Heiner tags Barthel and they double team Dain, but he slings Barthel off and clotheslines him over the ropes. Barthel runs back in and Dain hits a scope slam before making the tag to Maverick. Maverick counters Barthel and hits a drop kick to the knee. Barthel wants a back suplex and Drake lands on his feet, falls up with a Frankensteiner. Maverick goes to the top rope and Barthel slings him off. And then Heiner tags in and they double team Maverick. And Dain gets angry and rushes into the ring, but the referee backs him off. Barthel backs Drake into the corner and hits a back elbow. Maverick rallies and knocks Heiner off the apron and kicks Barthel in the knee, which I know that kind of had to hurt a little bit. Maverick crawls towards Dain, but Barthel tags in and stops him. So then Heiner hits a gutbuster and a running kick for a 2 count. Heiner lifts Drake by the jeans and swings him around. So then he hits a scope slam. Imperium continued to isolate Drake and prevent the tag, but eventually he gets to the Irishman. Dain comes in like a bat out of hell, drops them both with lariats and right hands, and tosses Barthel to the outside. Referee makes Dain get out of the ring, and Barthel drops him with a big boot. Barthel distracts the referee so that Alistair Wolf can get a chair. But Wolf doesn't want to hit Dain. So Barthel goes out and argues with Wolf until Maverick dives through the ropes onto him. Dain drops Heiner and goes out to lift Barthel, but Wolf won't let him run he won't let him run into the steps. Barthel drops Dain at ringside and Imperium hits Maverick with the Euro Bomb for the win. In other words, what I was saying, the European Bomb. That's what I was trying to say. My thoughts on this match, really, honestly, the layers of solid storytelling in this match really elevated it. And, Maverick went in ready to be betrayed. So instead, Dain fought his absolute hardest to protect his friend. But it was heartwarming scene, even in a loss. Can't believe I'm actually saying that. The man who showed some hesitation was Wolf. He and Dain have history dating back to Sanity. So it seems WWE is using that history to add more depth to the man who has often felt the most out of sorts in Imperium. Now the question is, I got a question for you all in the chat. Now, could Wolf choose an old friend over his current allies? Let me know your answer in the chats or in the comments down below. While recent angles have gotten some story to this tag team matchup, the battle between the teams tonight solidified this as a story to watch. A few more matches between these teams need to happen. So last night was good. Was a pretty good tag match. Wasn't too bad. From reading the results earlier anyway, before I went live. Now, Pete Dunne cuts a promo and says that everybody is talking about opportunities, but nobody wants to give him one. That's because he's the toughest match there is in NXT. Now, he beat Kushida at TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, and now he's the Cruiserweight Champion? So, he could have that belt whatever he wants. Maybe he should take a flight to London and go spark Walter to take back the title he made famous. Or what if he went after Johnny Gargano? That would only go one way. A bitter end. And then there's Karrion Kross. And Dunne isn't afraid of him. He doesn't need smoke and mirrors to prove he's the baddest man in NXT. He dares anyone to prove him wrong. We got a commercial break, and Karen Grimes is still in the jewelry store, and he's eyeballing a gold watch. He says it's the one for him and asks the man to ring it up. Suddenly, Ted DiBiase appears and shows his, I guess, diamond-rusting or diamond-encrusted watch and says, "That's a nice watch, kid." I don't even know what the fuck that word even means. The fuck was that? But it's not a $1 million watch. Then walks off laughing. That was a strange freaking segment there. That was a strange little segment there, man. So, the Rolling Stone Brand's in the ring, and out come the women's tag team champions as they're making their entrance. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae attack them and send them over the barricade. Indy hits Ember Moon with a fruit basket, and Candice finds a box of muffins and shoves it into Moon's face. Meanwhile, in the ring, Robert Stone is trying to say his girls are the new tag team champions, and they're celebrating like crazy. I don't understand what the hell I just read. So, wait a minute. Robert Stone said his girls are the new NXT tag team champions? Are you kidding me? Did y'all not just hear that? The fuck is that? Was this match even booked on the show? I can't believe Robert Stone said that. Not knowing his confusion. Not knowing he doesn't realize that Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are still the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Confusion at its finest, folks. I didn't understand that. What the fuck? He says, this guy's... Oh, man. This didn't sound right, man. This did not sound right. What in the world was he thinking? He said that he is trying to say, hey, or say his girls are the new tag team champions and they're celebrating like crazy. What the fuck? What is he, intoxicated? What's he talking about? This guy's a fucking merc, man. Doesn't even know. He didn't even know what was going on. Guy's an idiot. Oh my god. What the fuck? Typical fucking WWE creative garbage right there, man. Typical WWE terrible writing right there at its finest, man. Oh my God. Oh man. Adam Cole sat down for an interview earlier today in front of his swimming pool. I bet that swimming pool looked big. And I guarantee you Britt Baker was there in the house probably listening to him. Knowing her. The dentist. I may scream if I hear the beginning of her entrance music. I may scream and run away and hide behind a fucking dark room. I'm just joking. So Adam Cole sat down for an interview earlier today in front of his swimming pool. So the interviewer from ESPN, oh figures, oh great, can't hardly wait to read this. ESPN asked Cole how he feels after the brutal match, and Cole says he's felt better, but he's felt worse. The War Games matches were worst, and he wrestled with a broken wrist for a long periods of his title reign. Cole was asked if it was a mistake to lose to the Undisputed Era. And Adam says he didn't lose anything. I don't think he lost anything, man. I don't think he missed a step in wrestling, man. Honestly. I mean, do you know how long he carried the stable known as Undisputed Era? Do you not know how long Adam Cole was the longest reigning NXT champion? I think you all forgot. I think some of the people in the community have forgot. Some of the Shields have forgot, man, honestly. I mean, if you look it up on the internet, it should tell you how long Adam Cole held that NXT title. I mean, it's not that hard to look it up on the internet. All you gotta do is go to Google and ask, how long has Adam Cole held the NXT title? And boom, there's the answer. Right there. It's not that hard, seriously. It's really not. Yeah, you got people who want to be lazy and say, I don't want to look that up. I'm lazy. I don't feel like doing this because my fucking wrist is hurting. Whatever. Whatever, fucking geek. Anyways. Cole is asked if O'Reilly is the new face of NXT. And he says Cole got lucky at TakeOver. Cole says O'Reilly is unsure of himself and he definitely should be. So, there's a reason why it's taken him 4 years to main event. But as long as he's in NXT, Kyle will never take his spot. Cole is asked about Karrion Kross, which I know some of the geeks in the IWC community are fans of. And he says he's good, but he doesn't think he's great. Whoa. You don't think we're going to be seeing a Kross and Cole feud, are we? I don't think we should be seeing that right now. I mean, Adam Cole's not even the babyface. If he was babyface, yeah, you would have to start a feud. You have to start feuding Cole with Karrion Kross if Cole was a babyface. Now, if he was a heel and Kross was a heel, that wouldn't make sense. That would not absolutely make sense at all. You cannot do a storyline with two fucking heels. What on earth kind of sense does that make? Seriously. I think it makes no sense whatsoever. I don't even think they should be putting them in a feud, period, man. I just think this feud is just not going to help the viewership if they ever feud Adam Cole with Karrion Kross. I just don't see them doing it right, man. I just don't see it happening. Cole says that if and when he decides to go after the title, the clock will be ticking for Karrion Kross. Oh yeah, sure. So you're gonna pull off one of your schemes and turn Karrion Kross face, right? Right, Paul? That's what you're gonna do, right? Paul, Triple H, you're gonna turn Karrion Kross face, right? So we can get a Karrion Kross. So we get a babyface Karrion Kross feuding with a heel Adam Cole. I can't see how that's going to deliver. I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm sorry. Now, I know I may sound like a blithering idiot saying this, but come on, man. Now, the match has some kind of potential. A Kross versus Adam Cole match for the NXT title does have some kind of potential, but not that much potential. Not that kind of much potential. But like I said, I can't see this Adam Cole and Kross feud happening. I just don't think it makes sense to even have an Adam Cole and Kross feud. Do you know how many mistakes they would make with this Cole Kross storyline? Do you all not know? A whole bunch if you ask me. The booking would be awful. The freaking writing would be awful. Writing this feud off TV or on TV. The freaking producing is definitely going to be freaking awful. Something Bruce and Vince are not good at. Producing, writing, or booking matches. That's the problem with WWE. It's always this terrible, stupid political agenda they're going with, man. I'm telling you, it's not cool, man. It's really not cool. And not only is that, it's their terrible writing, producing, and booking, as I said. As I said the first time. But anyways, folks, he knows where he goes next, but it's nobody's business. He's pissed that anyone is saying O'Reilly is replacing him. No matter what he does next, he's going to be the best in the business. Well, he won't be the best in the business when he gets called up to the main roster and gets mistreated and wasted at the hands of Bruce and Vince. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Beaver Clown, Kevin Dunn. Because you know he's in it too. He's got a lot to do with it too. I would have made that sound like Mario, but I didn't try it. I don't think I'd succeed. I think I'd probably suck. No matter what he does next, he's going to be the best in the business. We see Kyle O'Reilly watching the interview backstage in a room, and he doesn't look happy. So we got a commercial break. It says next Tuesday night, we'll see Swerve versus Leon Ruff in a Falls Count Anywhere match again on Great. We're gonna get this match again, and then you know what's gonna happen? The NXT viewership is gonna go down because they're booking the same old shit every week. They're doing like Monday Night Raw, and I really hate it. Why does NXT got to do a little bit like Monday Night Raw? Book the same matches every single week, knowing it gets boring, knowing there's no storyline to it. I mean, there is a storyline to Swerve and Leon Ruff. I could see why they're feuding, and I could see why they're always being booked. Because Swerve and Leon Ruff are currently feuding. It's a feud. I mean, it makes sense to book Swerve and Leon Ruff again because, it's a feud. I understand it. If it's a feud, if you're booking two of the same superstars as feuding in a match for the next week, for the next episode of NXT, and it's a feud, I get it. It makes sense. I get it. But if you're just putting two superstars in there in matches and they're not feuding, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. You got to put two superstars in matches. Two superstars that are feuding in those matches. Not the two superstars that are not feuding in those matches. You know what I mean? You all get what I'm trying to say here, right? Somebody rephrase that for me. Somebody in the chat, correct me on that. Tell everybody what I'm trying to say here. Or was it me, or did I clearly speak it? Did I clearly make it clear of what I said? And did I clear the air? Honestly, I don't know what I did. But hey, I know I'm telling the truth. I know for a fact that I'm telling the truth. I'm not lying at all. Heck, hell, and the community's not the only ones that's sick of Bruce and Vince's bullcrap. I'm sick of their fucking typical producing and writing and ideas garbage too. I'm sick of their freaking garbage ideas and writing and producing. I'm sick of it, man. And you know what? Before I read to you all what happened with the main event match between Legado and Fantasma, MSK, and Kushida in that 6-on-6 men tag team match, I just want to tell y'all that the shows, the Monday Night Raw shows and the SmackDown shows are never going to get better until Vince is removed and until Bruce is fired from all WWE. If those guys would get gone, maybe the shows would get better. And you could put Triple H as the next chairman, or you could have Stephanie McMahon as the lead executive director for Raw and SmackDown. Or perhaps bring Paul Heyman back and have him as the lead executive director for Raw and SmackDown. Just saying, that's the way I do it. Seeing that Triple H knows what Raw and SmackDown needs, I think he absolutely deserves to be the next chairman of WWE. Meanwhile, Vince McMahon doesn't. Vince McMahon does not deserve to be chairman longer. He needs to. He's got to go, man. He is miserably failing these shows. He is making these Raw and SmackDown shows look like complete embarrassments. And most importantly, he's making some of this god awful talent look like embarrassment. And you know what I mean by god awful talent? I'm talking about Braun Strowman, Tamina, and Nia Jax. I mean, I don't even give a shit about them. I didn't even care about Billie Kay or Peyton Royce. I'm glad they were released. Those ladies were annoying. Their voices were annoying. Their entertainment was just freaking terrible. What they did in the ring was awful. Chelsea Green is better than freaking Billie Kay and Peyton Royce combined. And then they go to release Chelsea Green for what? Oh, because she injured her shoulder. Right? And the most thing that shocked me the most is the fact that they released Samoa Joe from WWE. That's the main thing that shocked me. How could you release somebody like that? How could you release a veteran, man, that's been in this business for a while, man? How? What a complete fucking joke that was. Releasing Samoa Joe. Really. That was a complete joke. I don't care what the freaking Virgin geeks in the community got to say. It was a complete joke, man. You cannot release somebody like that, man. That's good. That's that talented, man. That's that really good. You can't release somebody like that, man. It just doesn't feel right. Doesn't make sense. But they went with it anyway because they were trying to make some cuts. Probably because for that money. That's probably why. Because of the money. Yeah, money. Yeah, I'm sure you all are familiar with that. So Wrestle Talk says. God, I don't even want to talk about those guys. I don't even want to talk about how awful Cafaholic and all these other wrestling freaking sites and promotions are, man. What I want to go over is the freaking main event, because the main event was the only best freaking match on the entire goddamn show. I mean, 6-man tag match stole the show, man. It was really, really awesome. Your typical freaking normal 6-man tag match that you would want to freaking sit back and watch it one time and then go back and rewatch it the second time and then go back and rewatch it the third time. That's how good that 6-man tag match was, man. And I think in the chat, even Justin said He, in his opinion, he thought that the six-man tag match was the only best match on the show. I agree. Well, of course I said it before he did, but I absolutely agree. I think this six-man tag match delivered. Now, are they building a storyline behind this? Maybe. But we don't know that yet. We don't know what they're doing with Legado, Fantasma, Kushida, and MSK. Is Kushida going to be the new member of MSK? Could we see a 3 MSK trio? I think so. I think Kushida being a new member of MSK, I don't think it would make sense, but I think it would be interesting to see him as the new member of MSK. I really do think it would be. To be honest. Seeing as MSK are the NXT Tag Team Champions, and seeing that Kushida is the Cruiserweight Champion, I think it would be interesting. Now, the question is, I got a question for you all in the chat. The question is, do you all think this is the beginning of the trio feud between Legado and Fantasma, MSK, and Kushida? You guys think that? Let me know in the chat or in the comments below. Now, so here's what went down with this six-man main event tag match. It was the main event of NXT. So, the match begins with Wilde and Kushida and the Cruiserweight Champion jumping onto him, looking for an armbar, but Wilde slams him down and dances. That was a weird... Let me tell you how weird that dance was. That dance was so freaking weird that it just makes you want to pick up the remote and just change the channel. I don't want to see no dancing on my TV. I want to see action and wrestling. I am tired of that entertaining dancing bullcrap. Get that off my TV. Get that garbage off my TV, man. Seriously. Anyways, Kushida grabs a hold of Wilde and tags out so Wesley can hit a tope. So then Wilde quickly turns the tables. He turns the tables on Lee and tags Mendoza for a double team Alabama slam and drop kick. So then Lee drop kicks Mendoza out the ring and tags Carter. MSK land a flurry of offense on Mendoza and Wilde. Fantasma is all knocked into the floor and taunted as they head to commercial break. So it sounds to me like so far this match was off to a good start in this main event. Six-man tag match. I mean, basically, Fantasma were taking control of the match, and they did what they felt like they wanted to do. Am I right? They definitely felt like they won. They felt like they did what they either wanted to do or what they were told to do. But, anyways, back from commercial break. Legado down Fantasma is in control. And I've been trying to find Santos Escobar forever. And it took me a while to try to find him. Because I'm too busy reading to you all what happened with the six-man tag match. Now, return from commercial break to find Escobar grounding Carter with a wrist lock. Mendoza tags in and he continues the assault. It shoves Carter shoulder first into the ring post. It then Fantasma keep Nash isolated in the corner, stomps him down. Escobar tags back in and goes back to work on the arm and applies a Kimura. Carter fights free and tags Kushida. All of Fantasma rush in, and Kushida knocks Escobar down, tosses Mendoza out, and attacks Wild with a drop kick. So then we got Kushida slamming Escobar before tagging Wesley, and he and Carter hit the assisted shooting star press. Kushida holds the ropes apart to allow Lee and Carter to dive through the ropes onto Wild and Mendoza. And then Santos pulls Kushida off the apron, power bombs him through the announce desk. Lee gets dropped in the ring. Carter goes after Santos, but Mendoza wipes him out with a dive. Lee rallies and drops Mendoza. So then they look for a backflip kick to Wild, but gets caught in midair. Wild hits a lariat to Lee in the corner. Then Mendoza and Escobar do the same. And then Escobar suplexes Lee, and Mendoza flips Wild onto the ropes and back in splash Lee for a 2 count. So Lee tosses Wild to the apron, then sends Mendoza crashing into him. Escobar attempts a frog splash, but Lee avoids it. Then he drops all 3 of them with enziguris, and Nash is back on the apron. So Carter comes in with a super kick to Wild, pump kick to Mendoza. Escobar hits an enziguri. Kushida comes back inside, but Escobar kicks him and hits a phantom driver. So then Fantasma then hit Carter with a running kick, Russian leg sweep for the win. That was it. So yeah, this was no doubtly one of the best, or if not the only best match in this entire show. I don't think I'll recall every other match, the best match on the show, except for this match right here in particular. And honestly, my thoughts on the 6-man tag match wasn't too bad. The show moved along at a steady pace throughout the night. So, but I mean, this was absolutely the highlight. Like I said, MSK can make every match spectacular. We know that. And Kushida is working at his best level right now. Now together, they gave Legado del Fantasma its biggest challenge yet. And despite that Escobar, Mendoza, and Wild remained dominant, it was unreal how good they made the faces look without ever losing control of the match. So this was a fun war to watch unfold. Legado del Fantasma earned another shot at MSK. Escobar solidified his claim to a rematch with Kushida. This was everything it needed to be, with a memorable image to close the night. Now, let's move on to the news here. Some of the news I have. First off, let's start off with the news on the mysterious new teaser airing during NXT last night. So, WWE is always making plans for the future, and they teased a pretty big spot, or a pretty big surprise, is what I'm trying to say, during NXT this week. Folks, the person behind the Diamond Mine name, I think it's none other than Tessa Blanchard. It's no doubtly Tessa Blanchard. It's got to be her. Because if you look at the Vagnet, you could see the diamonds. She's always known for having diamond entrance. And her Titron is always showing, her name. It showed back in Impact, her entrance theme, her entrance Titron is shown. It was shown of her name and diamonds on it. It's always been like that. So, I think, in my opinion, it's got to be Tessa Blanchard. Now, if you all thought it was Tessa Blanchard, let me know in the comments below why you think it was Tessa Blanchard, and how you think it was her. Now, anyways, during the WWE NXT episode this week, they aired a teaser Vagnet for Diamond Mine. They showed an emblem that said Diamond Mine in third before it rested into a standard logo. There was not much to it, but this got fans talking. This had fans in the IWC community talking. And I guarantee you this went viral on Twitter last night. While I was at work, anyway. I was working last night, so I missed NXT. Now that NXT's on Tuesdays, I can't watch it. But that's okay. I can always read the NXT results. I'm not worried about it. And that's what I did. So, the fans all over are hurtling out guesses of what or who this could be. Tessa Blanchard's name has been mentioned due to her association with diamonds and her interests in ring gear. That's what I was trying to explain. That's what I'm trying to say. So, it was anyone's guess what this could mean. This could mean Tessa Blanchard is joining the NXT women's roster, perhaps. This could mean the debut of Tessa Blanchard. But it could also mean the debut of someone else, because if you think of it, Tessa Blanchard is actually in Mexico right now with her husband Dago. So, it could be anybody with that Vagnet. Because it was previously teased. There were some news of talks with Tessa Blanchard and Triple H. There was news on Tessa Blanchard talking and having conversation with Triple H about joining the NXT women's roster or something like that. Did you all remember that? And actually, I am going to pull that news up right now. And my sources, Ringside, my good old friends on Twitter, Ringside News, still has that article of Tessa Blanchard, of that news on Tessa Blanchard being in talks with WWE on, joining WWE, signing with WWE. You know what I mean? So, let's pull that up real quick. And I pull this up here on my tablet here. Give me a minute, guys. Oh, and by the way, last month, Tessa Blanchard was spotted training with Sasha Banks and other WWE superstars. So, what does that mean? Well, Tessa Blanchard did have a good run as a pro wrestler until she became a subject of controversy back in early 2020. She was spotted. It said last year in March, she was spotted training with WWE superstars, Hyper School of Wrestling, and a wrestling school based in Texas. Now, she took Twitter and uploaded a photo of a recent training session on Tuesday. That was Tuesday last month I'm guessing on March the 24th. But it featured the likes of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Kalisto, and others. Tessa Blanchard was also present. So, yeah. Last year, Tessa Blanchard finished her run with Impact Wrestling back in July of last year. So, she wasn't competing in the ring for the past several months last year. Now, those of you that are thinking, is Tessa Blanchard going to join NXT? Well, she last wrestled a match against Kaylee Ray at Warrior Wrestling. Stadium series on September 12, 2020. Both AEW and WWE last year reportedly had interest in signing Blanchard. You guys hear this? Reportedly had interest in signing Blanchard. My sources, my good old friends on Twitter, Ringside News, previously reported this stuff. They previously reported the fact. So, this could mean that Tessa Blanchard could, in fact, be making her NXT debut soon. And also, Tessa Blanchard herself had interest from both WWE and AEW. And here is what was keeping Tessa Blanchard from signing with a company, with a new pro wrestling company last year. And we all know there was an interest from AEW and WWE. But last year there was one big holdup for Blanchard. So last year, according to Wrestling Inc., Blanchard had not signed with a new contract with another pro wrestling company because she is still celebrating. She was still celebrating her recent marriage last year at the time, and they were still in Mexico. So Daga had reported his plans to work from MLW. Not sure if he's working with them this year or not. He may have left them. I don't know. Tessa Blanchard could be weighing her options right now. The third generation wrestler was currently busy celebrating her transition into life as a newlywed last year, and that was that. So we all know she was Impact Women's Champion at the time of her release. But one day prior to her big title win, a scandal broke where many wrestlers came forward with stories about her backstage bullying, allegations, and she had since denied. So there is still that spreading around the internet. I don't know why. But that's what I was told. Remember, back to what I was saying that Tessa Blanchard and Triple H had talks for possible WWE contract. So, remember last year, back in August 2020, Tessa Blanchard and Triple H had open communication for possible WWE contract. So let me go over that with you all real quick before we go over more news. Because I have news on the viewership, and I also have huge news on Jason Jordan. Something you all need to know. This is very important. So first, let's go over the news from last year on Tessa Blanchard, Triple H have opening communication for possible WWE contract. So it says here that Tessa Blanchard was released from Impact. Of course, we know that. That was last year. 25-year-old, third generation professional wrestler. The 25-year-old had a lot of options, including WWE. We know that too, because we already went over that. It was previously thought that Blanchard in WWE would be a perfect fit. The company reportedly last year had feelers out to her as soon as she was released. So the recent rumors was that people were chewing Vince McMahon's ear off backstage for him to hire Tess. That sounds kind of hilarious if you ask me. Oh man, that sounds kind of freaking funny for real. A writer with knowledge of the situation did inform my sources, my good old friends on Twitter, Ringside News, that Paul Levitch, known as Triple H, has open communication with Blanchard. She was talking to WWE, but it's unclear exactly how far along those talks were. Now, of course, we all knew that it said here last year that Blanchard stayed in Mexico instead of taking a trip to Impact Wrestling television tapings to represent the company as champion. Now, how is this going to affect Tessa Blanchard making her NXT debut knowing she lives in Mexico with her husband, Dog? Well, she could easily move to Miami. She could easily move to Orlando, Florida and stay there. Her and her husband could stay there. Maybe Tessa Blanchard is not the only one that's making her debut. Maybe her husband could be making his debut alongside her in NXT. think about that. Dakota could also be signing NXT. I think that's why this mysterious Vagnet is being brought up in the first place. They both could be signing for NXT. If Dakota signs for NXT, boy, do you know how good the men's division is going to be. If he signs with NXT, I think he would definitely sort of kind of change the landscape of the men's NXT division if Dakota signed with NXT. That would be a surprise signing. That would be a shocking signing. That would be probably the highest signing that'd be the highest person they've ever signed, man. Or the greatest person they've ever signed. Now, last year it was unknown how far along the two sides were in terms of talks. Now, there wasn't originally no word as to whether Blackheart would be going to NXT first. Now word has it that now that the mysterious Vagnet was brought up, now word has it that Tessa Blanchard could in fact be signing with NXT. Words going around the wrestling community that she's going to be signing with NXT. So, I guess we'll find out soon enough who that person is behind that Vagnet. That mysterious new teaser in that Vagnet video during NXT last night. Guess we'll find out who it is. I think it's Tessa Blanchard. Again, let me guys know who you think it is. Now anyways, let's move on to the news on Jason Jordan. I got some news on Jason Jordan receiving huge backstage promotion in WWE. So let's go over that real quick before I try to look up the news on the NXT viewership. So WWE is shaking up many things backstage. Now some people were fired and they have brought in a few new names. Jason Jordan also got a John Lutheran was removed. I think it's John Cena's stepdad or something like that. John was removed to overseeing talent relations. It was reported that Jordan has been taped in recent. He's been taped to receive those additional responsibilities. I guess. I hope you all understand what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to read to you. Now, this is what PW Insider had to say. They said, and I quote, with John Laurentiis moving into overseeing talent relations, there were also changes within the ranks of WWE producers. Jason Jordan has been given a new role, large responsibilities with the company, taking over former role as lead producer overseeing all the others at TV tapings. Now, Jason Jordan had to retire from the ring far before he ever planned. Now, he experienced neck issues that required surgery, so he still had not returned. But he was moved into the backstage role that he is continually thriving in. I think this is great for Jason Jordan. I think Jason Jordan's going to do really great as lead producer. Finally, we need someone who's worthy of producing shows, man. I think Jason Jordan would fit good in that. I think he fits good in that role. I don't know why, but I think he just somehow fits good in the role. I don't know if it's because he deserves it, or maybe it's that. Man, he's talented too, so maybe that's another reason. Now, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and look up the news on the viewership, and then I'm going to end this NXT review here. Give me a minute, guys. Trying to find the news on the NXT viewership. Alright, here it is, folks. My sources has it. Here it is. Here is the news on the WWE NXT viewership. So, WWE brought another episode of NXT to USA Network this week. So, let's pretty much see how the viewership turned out as the Black Gold brand settles into Tuesday nights. So, according to Showbuzz Daily, I don't know if you guys know those guys. I don't really know them either. So, anyways, who cares? Anyways, Showbuzz Daily reports that WWE NXT drew an overnight average of 744,000 viewers with a .22 in the 1849 demographic. Last week brought in 841,000 viewers with a .23 rating in the 1849 demographic. The previous week drew 805,000 viewers for the first week on Tuesday night. They also pulled in a .22 in the 1849 demographic. This was an increase from the previous week's number as well. The week prior saw AEW Dynamite pull in 688,000 viewers. NXT brought in 768,000 viewers for Night 1 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, a show that also played commercial free on Peacock, that was the pay-per-view I actually watched. AEW Dynamite still won in the COVID 1849 demographic. Of course, nothing new. Ha 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 ha! What a surprise! Of course, AEW was gonna win. Of course, Dynamite was gonna win. Really. They just had to put that out there. Hello, we're wrestling fans. We're IWC community fans. We know that. We don't have to be told that twice. But they scored a .28 to WWE NXT's .22. Well, folks, that's going to do it for your NXT review. It's going to do it for your NXT news. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button on the stream. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. I am actually getting out of here. Coming up next on my IWN Wrestling News and Gaming YouTube channel, I'll be streaming some Call of Duty. I'll be streaming a little bit of Call of Duty for a couple hours before my AEW Dynamite review tonight. So, please, folks, tune in for my AEW Dynamite review. It's going to be good. And I encourage you to invite your friends to join the chat as well. And hit the like button on the AEW Dynamite review too once it goes live tonight. You know, your like button helps out the channel, the videos, and the live streams. And it helps me out too. That's the most important thing. Anyways, folks, I will see you guys live in the live chat for. I'll see you guys in the live chat for my AEW Dynamite review tonight. For now, folks, I will see you on Call of Duty. Peace. I am getting out of here. By the way, thank you all for joining me for my NXT review. I really appreciate it. Again, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. And I will see you guys later for the AEW Dynamite review. Have a good one, folks. Oh, wait. Before I go, let's review the chat. I forgot all about that. Before I get out of here, let's review the chat real quick. Alright, so what has everybody said in the live chat? Let's see. Justin, I see Justin. Justin21111, thank you for joining as always. Like you always are. I mean, you are my YouTube moderator. Of course you're going to join. But Jones, thank you for joining. Fantasy Kid, thank you for joining me for my NXT review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. I will see you guys on my AEW Dynamite review. See you guys on Call of Duty. Peace. I'm out of here this time.